What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. Yet another edition of Throwback Thursday. Jeff, I know you've been enjoying the content as much as I've been enjoying digging through and putting it all up and together.
I'm not gonna lie. I was trepidatious watching this, especially my stuff. I hate watching my stuff, you know that. But it's been interesting to go back and watch it because, as I said, I become less of a dick as the shows go on Talk Wrestling, which is thank God I did because the first show was so bad. But man, you have been like reaching into the vault, man. I almost feel like I want to grab Mickey Mouse on SNL. I'm like, no, protect the content. They didn't sell. So man, such good stuff to watch, and today is no exception, sir.
Yes, thank you once again to Aaron Rift of the NoDQ YouTube channel, James Hebert of the JH95/FTW Productions, Noel Foster from the Simple Man brand, and of course, you, good sir, for the
Yes,
Jeff Meacham Network, for allowing me access to all the content that was previously discussed in private
yes,
amongst all of you guys, because there are limitations about what can and can't be posted, but
yeah. Unfortunately,
especially a big thank you once again to Aaron Rift for allowing me access to the no DQ stuff. That stuff has really helped make the process and the Throwback Thursdays succeed and thrive, I think.
absolutely.
Sit back, relax, everybody, enjoy as we bring to you yet another week of Throwback Thursday content.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from NoDQ.com.
Welcome everyone to the NoDQ review here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. We got El Virtuoso back again to cover the topics with us. We also have Big Vito back with us again. How's it going, Vito?
Everything is going lovely. Everything is going lovely.
All right, and joining us this week in the fourth spot is good old JM, Jeff Meacham. How's it going, Jeff?
Who in the blue hell is Jeff Meacham?
Jeff Meacham has been with NoDQ longer than there you go. Talk Wrestling. Virtuoso's wearing the Talk Wrestling shirt. I love it.
Aaron sent me this. Sounds like the paper boy from down the street, Jeff Meacham. Hi, who's delivering your papers? Jeff Meacham. I hope you bring us something to the table except friggin' dinner. I mean, really, I can't understand.
Dinner, I hear you. Trust me, I got plenty of opinions about the last week in WWE TV and wrestling in general, so let's get it going, Aaron.
All right, sounds good. So, El Virtuoso, you got the list of topics here, so go ahead and take it away. You're the expert here. Let's do this.
Yes. I briefly, everybody, want to talk about Fastlane, because I know we've all covered it in various aspects already. It was a C+ show to me. So, I'm going to go down. Rude lost the U.S. title to Randy Orton.
Thank God.
Really?
Bludgeon. Okay. I'm just going to give my bullet points, and then you can each give your thoughts on the pay-per-view. Bludgeon Brothers interrupted Usos and New Day, and I'm still trying to contemplate if that was good or bad, because we all wanted to see that fantastic Usos and New Day feud, another match, but they cut it short. Did that bring heat to the Bludgeon Brothers? Asuka showed up and challenged Charlotte. Shane screwed Zayn and Owens, and AJ retained. To me, that was all the highlights. If I missed anything, but who should we start with? Jeff? No, you know what?
No. Vito, please. Yeah,
Vito. I don't want. Yeah, Vito. What's your thoughts on Fastlane, in a nutshell?
Fastlane was a filler pay-per-view. It had no meaning on the WrestleMania card. When you talk about all the matches there, it had absolutely no verdict to be had. And I thank God Bobby Roode got that title off him. He was so vanilla. And if you notice, he tried to steal my finish, which he doesn't do it half as good as I do. But, I mean, Jesus Christ, you talk about two champions in a row. Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, very plain and very vanilla championship runs. They had to put Randy Orton in the mix to give it credibility again going into WrestleMania, because the title meant nothing. And once Dolph Ziggler walked off with the title and he didn't regain it, he didn't fight for it, he didn't do nothing. And Bobby Roode had lackluster. And he's dead. I mean, really. I mean, you're going to turn him heel, which is good, but he is definitely mid-card or below. He's not a main eventer at any level. He definitely belongs on the SmackDown brand. And if I had a choice, I would have kept him down to NXT, because his gimmick is an NXT gimmick that came up to the main roster that had no boom. And when they gave that title to him before the last pay-per-view, before SummerSlam, it was so dead, even with Daniel Bryan out there, with Shane McMahon out there. It was so flat. You could already know this is going to be a dead run.
Well, Bobby Roode, I just wanted to say about Bobby Roode, I think some might argue that him being a babyface hasn't really worked to his benefit. Maybe if he turned heel at some point, we could see him perhaps reinvent himself and get back.
But if you are a worker of that many years, you should know how to work as a babyface over here. I'll give you a perfect example. Big Vito LaGrasso. The baddest, meanest Italian bad boy that ever lived. And when you talk about being vicious, was vicious. You put him in a dress. You ask him to be babyface. And he got over as a babyface without no experience. You know what the experience was? Learning what the heel wanted the babyface to do in the ring so the heel could get over, so the babyface's comeback meant everything. So what do? You learn. And if you don't know how to get yourself over as a babyface after so many years as a heel, then there's something wrong with your pedigree and your upbringing in the business. So you can't say, well, the writing and it's your work. And if your work is not up there, it's not happening, guys.
Now, excuse me, sorry to interrupt you, El Virtuoso. What about a guy who is generally a babyface like a Ricky Steamboat or a Sting I don't know if Steamboat was ever a heel or not. I'm not sure.
Never.
And what about Sting? When Sting turned heel, that was pretty much considered to be a flop. I mean, what would you say about Sting in that regard?
Yeah, but Sting being a heel, okay, Okay, I'm going to give you one better.
Okay.
Let's talk about Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan turning heel after all those years of being a babyface. And when he turned, he had a 3-year run as the biggest heel in the business. Look at John Cena. If John Cena today turned heel, he'd have a 5-year run as a heel run, and he would wipe out everybody. And it would be, and you've seen glimpses of it. You could see that it's there. And you could see once a turn is back, you could see the emotion that people have. Oh my God, John Cena's going to turn heel. Oh my! If he did, he would go to Steve Austin over. I'm not saying John Cena's not over, but he would be Steve Austin over.
Well, I think
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Well, Aaron, I'm passing it on to Jeff because I see he is itching to go.
I just love all the interaction. It's awesome. I think that you mentioned Bobby Roode not being able to adapt properly. I actually 100% agree because Bobby Roode was an effective heel both in TNA and in NXT. But when they turned in babyface, like Vito said, he became vanilla. He became it was like he was just there and existing. He wasn't contributing anything negative or positive to the product. So I think if they were to do something different with him, he could be something. Now, Randy Orton winning the U.S. title is good for the U.S. title, and it's good for Randy Orton. It gives him the Grand Slam marquee. It gives him the big, he's done everything now. And going into Mania, we have a decent match that hopefully Bobby Roode can find a way to channel the guy that ran over TNA for however long he was TNA champion and do something positive at WrestleMania with it.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I'm going to ask you a question.
I think Jinder's winning it.
I'm not. I don't want to win it, but I'm going to give a little education here.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask the 3 of you a question. Okay. 3 you Utes. Now, when was Bobby Roode the most successful in TNA? Now, El Virtuoso, I'll go to you, then Aaron, then the new guy. I'm going to call you the new guy because you know
works.
To me, it was obviously, I can go all the way back to the Team Canada days, but I'm going to say Beer Money as the tag team champion with James Storm.
I agree.
Because think about it. That was the first thing that popped into my head when you asked me that question.
Same thing.
Same thing, right, guys?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Do you know why? Because when you are part of a team and you are a wingman, now I always said I always had a good wingman, right? I had Johnny the Bull.
Yep.
Okay. I had the Baldies. I had the NYC. I had Nunzio. In every faction, I always had good wingmen that we got over. But I was able to be successful as a singles wrestler. I had that versatility. Some guys don't have that versatility. They have to be part of a team. And Bobby Roode is a team player. I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler. I'm saying he's most effective as part of a group.
Well, that's a very solid point. And I also wanted to add, imagine if you took away his music, how the crowd would react to him. I think, part of the reason he gets a pop is the music.
That's why I agree with Vito. That's where I think Vito... That proves that Bobby Roode is an NXT entity.
It does, because when he was brought in, people were buzzing about Bobby being there at Dallas a couple years ago at NXT Dallas. But then when they heard the music on the internet, people just started exploding over Bobby. So that's what it took. You're absolutely right, Virtue. No question about it.
Virtuoso.
Wait.
Virtuoso. Sorry.
You're fired.
Yeah,
Hey,
I get that.
I know you're here. We're giving you some friggin' prime time.
Okay, well, let's take the ball rolling.
I'm sorry.
I want you to go make some coffee for the crew or something, Get some bacon.
I'm sorry, Vito. I'm sorry.
Did the Bludgeon Brothers get heat from interrupting what everyone wanted to see, a 20-minute Usos and New Day match? Or was it just flat? So, Aaron, what do you think on that?
Well, I didn't really have a problem with it. I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to be in the title match at WrestleMania, so you want to make them look as strong as possible. I thought it was a nice little beatdown that they gave those guys, and then we had the match on SmackDown, which I also thought was good. So I'm enjoying the push that the Bludgeon Brothers are getting now, and for a long time, people have been asking about Harper and wanting to see Harper get some sort of big match at WrestleMania, and now he's getting it. So I say good for them. I like these guys. They're badass, and I love seeing them destroy people. So I'm enjoying it so far. What do you think, Jeff?
I watched SmackDown with my dad Tuesday night, and he hadn't seen SmackDown in a while. So when he saw Harper and Rowan come out, both at Fastlane and at second, they go, God, these guys have been in the gym. Where the hell have they been the last 6 months? They look like they've been cutting it up in the gym. Like, they both look amazing. And then they had that beatdown at Fastlane, and they had the match on SmackDown. He goes, these guys should be the champions. Give them the belts now. And I totally agree. I think that there's something different from the Usos New Day we had the last 6 months, where it's been back and forth between those two teams. I think if they give Harper and Rowan a shot, they'll take the ball and run with it.
Vito, do you think this Bludgeon Brothers gimmick's gonna work?
This gimmick is going to work because guys on the Raw scene, they have gone through every single tag team. On the SmackDown side, the Usos have run the gauntlet against everybody.
Yep.
Now, the Bludgeon Brothers going against the Usos and laying out everybody, they've been laying this out for months. The Bludgeon Brothers coming out, beating up people. Now they just beat up all the main tag team. This is the new main era of the tag team division. Now, same for SmackDown. SmackDown has Strowman. Strowman came down, beat up the whole friggin' SmackDown Raw tag team division. Will he take a partner? We don't know. But both tag team divisions have run the gauntlet. Now, the NXT boys, the Powers of Authority, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
The
Or Authors
Powers
of Pain.
Authors of Pain. Yeah, there's some big
Authors
boys
of
down
Pain,
in
I'm
NXT.
sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
now, those two guys are big. They got Paul Ellering. They're going to be dominating. They're bigger than all the rest of the teams except the Bludgeon Brothers. I think that's going to be a new team to be reckoned with. I think they're going to debut on WrestleMania, coming in and beating up somebody. I don't know who, but I think they're going to debut at WrestleMania just to make a presence, just to say, hey, we're here. And this is not a team that's going to be small like some of the other teams. These are two huge guys, and they have a manager. Now, the Bludgeon Brothers, they're going to probably win, hopefully win the titles. WWE, if you're listening to Big Vito, I know you listen, give them the titles. Let them run the gauntlet. Then then have a shake-up with the tag team division and do some trades and mix and match and give new flavor to both divisions, because that's what you need. It's just like the women's division on both programs. We already seen every mix and match. We already seen every matchup there can be. It's flat. The titles, you have the Miz. Who you're going to put the Miz with, really? You put Balor and Rollins in there. Big deal, because I don't believe in Finn Balor should be in 205 Live. Rollins should be a heel, and Miz is going to be the Miz, right? And on the other side, you have Bobby Roode. Randy Orton just won the title, and that should be prominent, and hopefully he'll carry it like the heavyweight title. AJ Styles is going to probably keep the title against Nakamura, because Nakamura is not an A player. And on the other side, you really don't know what's happening, because Lesnar and Reigns, I would like to see Lesnar retain and then have a newcomer maybe dethrone Lesnar and then go a different way, because everybody's tired of Reigns. That's my thoughts on that.
Jeff, did you have anything else to add? It looked like for the Bludgeon.
Well, I just wanted to ask, Vito, would you put the Authors of Pain on Raw or SmackDown, given where the Bludgeon Brothers are?
I would put them on an opposite show, because they're bigger. They have the same size.
Right.
And I think that if you put them on the opposite show, it gives a new flavor. Now, the Bludgeon Brothers are a new tag team that's been, squash, smash, squash, smash, squash, smash. Now they just demolished the whole tag team division. Now you have Strowman, who doesn't have a match, who should have a match, where they invested over a year's worth of time in him, but they blew their load with Strowman because they've already put him in there with Brock Lesnar. They put him in there with Reigns. They put him in there with the three-man with Kane and Lesnar and Strowman. Yep. So you've seen every avenue with Strowman. There's nowhere for Strowman to go if he runs the tag team divisions, or they trade him over to SmackDown and let him run SmackDown and destroy AJ Styles. That's the only way this guy's going to be champion.
You know what, Vito, since you brought that up, there was another topic I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about Braun briefly here, that he basically made the entire tag team division on Raw look like a joke. Now, I guess he's a number one contender, or he's going to go. I don't know if they're going to give him a partner. Aaron, what are your thoughts here? I've heard rumblings of Elias. It could be Strowman because he's such a monster, 2-on-1. What's WWE doing with this?
Well, I really don't know at this point. I mean, I think the idea was the bar had nothing going on for WrestleMania, and Strowman had nothing going on for WrestleMania, so they're just like, let's just put these guys in a match with each other, and maybe Strowman will have a partner. I mean, I could see Elias doing something maybe with Jeff Jarrett at WrestleMania. Maybe Jarrett comes out and does some sort of skit with Elias. That's what I think Elias is going to do. Maybe Samoa Joe will appear. I don't know. I mean, it's a really weird situation because if Strowman wins, obviously he's destroyed the entire tag team division. So what else do you do from that point? And then if Strowman loses, then he's losing to a tag team when he should be in a main event match. So it's a really weird situation, awkward situation, I think. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, people are getting all pissy about Strowman, being a tag champion by himself. It's like, you know what? It worked in TNA to a certain extent. Samoa Joe did it for a while. Kurt Angle held every title.
This is TNA. Did it really work?
I understand. Well, it works for TNA.
Erroneous.
Uh-oh. Vito called erroneous.
You bring up TNA.
I'm
like
sorry.
Apples and oranges. Come on, man.
Okay. Shit.
Come on, new guy. New guy.
A new guy. Okay. I think it would work only because it is Braun Strowman. Like Vito said, they kind of back themselves into a corner, but have him, like you said, you used the analogy, blew their wad with everybody. They put him in with Kane and Lesnar. They put him in the TLC match. They kind of did everything they could with him except give him the damn title. So, yeah, I'd move him to SmackDown, too, just to give him fresh meat, if you will.
Yeah.
Vito, any thoughts on Strowman? Is this going to work, this tag gimmick?
You guys want to really know what I think? I think they're keeping Strowman as a safety net in case the speculated suspension of Roman Reigns with the steroid scandal. They got to plug somebody in there. But, guys, if Braun Strowman is supposed to be indestructible, and he could beat all these guys and 2-on-1 and 3-on-1, and when he gets to that title match, he can't beat one man. Can't beat Roman Reigns. You can't beat Brock Lesnar, but you could beat two human beings. Now, I'm not discrediting Roman Reigns. I'm not discrediting Brock Lesnar. I'm putting them as, the guys.
Yeah.
But he destroyed Cena. He beat Kane. I would like to see him. I'm going to throw this out of the box. I would like to see him face The Undertaker. Nobody would ever think that. So you got Cena against The Undertaker, which does nothing. But if you put Strowman in there against The Undertaker, you just elevated Strowman to another level like Roman Reigns, and now you just have him waiting. Putting Strowman with the tag team to give him something to do. Okay, he wins the tag team titles. That means he's still like third tier because you have the Universal title, you have the U.S. title, then you have the tag team titles, then you have the 205 Live titles, then the women's titles. I'm not saying that in any disrespect.
Ooh, yeah,
no, I'm not saying any disrespect. I'm just saying, I'm just naming titles. But when you put Strowman in the tag team division, you're not really accomplishing anything. You give him a title to give him a title. He doesn't need a title. He needs to be world champion. He needs to beat the guy. So what do? You're going to put him in there. You're going to give him the title. So what is he going to? If I was Strowman, I'd throw them in the garbage. I don't need titles. I got these hands.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And I agree.
SmackDown.
It feels like they're doing this with Strowman just as to put him into something. It's crazy. And since you brought it up, Vito, you're bringing up the topics today. John Cena versus The Undertaker. I mean, it's all but confirmed now. And I highly doubt at this point they're going to let Cena cut these promos and it goes nowhere. So we're assuming Undertaker versus John Cena. Jeff, I want to start with you because I know you've debated this on No DQ panel videos that Aaron made me have to watch them all so I could learn what you guys debate about.
Yeah, sorry,
learn how it goes. That's right.
You said Rock and Hogan wasn't technically a great match, but you could never notice that, especially a casual fan, because that crowd was hot.
Who said Rock and Hogan wasn't a great match?
Well, from the wrestling move perspective,
from a technical standpoint, technical moves.
But Jeff did say it was great in terms of it held the audience's attention big time, one of the greatest ever.
Jeff is a Hulkamaniac, so Jeff is never going to say anything negative about Hulk Hogan.
It's like the back rake. People pop for a back rake, but if AJ Styles and Nakamura did a back rake...
Hey, he's smart. He's smart because he actually can make money doing less
Vito,
instead
I'm
of
gonna
those
get
guys
back
who are
to you.
doing all
I'm
those
gonna
things
talk-
Hold on a second, wait.
and not making
For
money.
somebody to say Rock and Hogan wasn't one of the greatest matches of two icons and somebody passing the torch, you guys are missing the whole concept of the match.
Oh, that match
It
was
wasn't
fantastic.
it wasn't the match. It was the passing of the torch.
It was the moment. It was the
didn't-
moment.
They didn't have to be the most technically gifted. And let me tell you something. Hogan hung with the Rock.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe where there was a couple of miscues, but I even watched that match because I like nostalgia, and I like to watch that for the crowd reaction, for the way they played up to the crowd, for the stuff they did, for Hogan being a heel and then conceding, hey, The Rock, he's the man now. That's the moment. That's what you're looking at, guys. If you're looking for highspot.com, that wasn't a match. If you're looking for wrestling of two big 6'6" guys who were jacked and in shape and passing the torch and wrestling history, that's the match you want to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody's arguing with
Yeah.
that, and I'll totally say it. I'd much rather watch Hogan and Rock than any match where you have a bunch of guys doing flips and stuff. I love the characters. I love the larger-than-life icons doing battle.
Yeah, I do for the most part when it comes to the Hogan and Rock, no question about that. When you have John Cena and The Undertaker, the promo John cut on Monday was very interesting because we kind of saw him kind of edge toward that or that abyss, and if he gets there, he gets there. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a good way for the two of them to go out together. I think Vito, you mentioned Strowman taking Undertaker. That'd be a great way to give Strowman that extra push that he doesn't need at this point, but it would get him over the top. But I think Cena and Undertaker facing each other is a good way for both of them to bow out gracefully. That's where I think they're going with
bow
this.
out to what? It's a nostalgia match. And if you really want to have a nostalgia match, guys, and this is for all you people out there, why don't you bring Sting in and have the Sting Undertaker match at WrestleMania? You don't need John Cena, all right? And because the people want to see Sting and Undertaker, and Sting can come back for one more match against The Undertaker. They're both at the same level, the same speed. They know how to work, and I think it would be a good match. And if you're looking for a kumbaya for The Undertaker, hey, you had it last year. What are we gonna? You have to go out on top, and this is a secret that everybody misses in wrestling. How do you come in wrestling? You come in on the flat of your back. How are you supposed to go out? On the flat of your back.
So, Vito, and actually, Aaron, I want to ask you this first. Everybody can chime in. Do you think this is just done to give Cena a spot in another WrestleMania moment?
Well, first of all, Jeff, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
I was going to say, is Sting not medically cleared to compete, right? Is that the case?
I believe he's not medically cleared, but I think that would be a great match if it was possible.
If Sting was ready to go and Undertaker's ready to go, I would love to see that. No question.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, I think Cena and Undertaker, it should have been done a couple of years ago. It is what it is. They're doing it now, and I think it'll be a fun match. I think it'll be a lot like Hogan and Rock. It'll be more about the characters and less about the actual wrestling. I think it'll be a fun match. I mean, I don't know how it's going to end. I'm not really sure what the best finish. I guess that is something we could all discuss here. How should this match end? Should Undertaker go out with a victory, or should he go out as his last match losing to John Cena after losing last year to Roman Reigns? What do you think, El Virtuoso?
They need to up the stakes then. You got John Cena and you got The Undertaker. People are going to think John Cena just has to have a spot. Well, since he's not in it with Lesnar or Reigns or AJ, we're going to put him with The Undertaker, which defeats the purpose of what happened at the end last year where Undertaker put his gear in the ring. So if you're going to have Undertaker accept his challenge and come back, then the careers need to be on the line. I mean, seriously, they need to make this a career-threatening match to where there is some finality to somebody to put the intrigue. And maybe I'm just off base with that, but seriously, people will eat it up. And who I would pick to win at this point in the game, I would have Undertaker defeat John Cena where you think John Cena is retired. That's just my thought. Anybody want to chime in?
Well, before we get Vito, let me ask
Hollywood.
you a question.
Remember Hollywood.
Oh, I know. We've debated this over the years on NoDQ, but Vito, I want to ask you: do you think that giving Brock Lesnar taking the streak away was the right decision, or should it have been John Cena like it was rumored?
No, it should have been Lesnar because Lesnar was the guy to do it because he was the baddest ass on the planet. And if you want to talk about the way to go out, fellas, all right, and if it could have been done any better, than Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
And Flair went out on the flat of his back, and it was okay with it. But, here's the but. He kept wrestling, and he ruined his legacy, and he kept going, and he kept going, and he kept going. And when Ric Flair, as we all know, I've been in the ring with him in pay-per-views, I've been in the ring with him in other matches, and you're wrestling Ric Flair, and then you see him getting punched out by girls, and he's elbowing his jacket. That's not the Ric Flair, you know? Yeah. That's the Ric Flair I wrestled was Ric Flair. Styling, profiling him and Luger, and me and Johnny the Bull wrestled him and Luger. I think it was Bash the Beach or Halloween Havoc or one of those. Right. And you talk about being in a program with Ric Flair when Flair was Flair, and he had his hair, and he had the look, he had the clothes, he had this, you know, and you're in there with these guys. That's the Flair you remember, not these guys now. Right. You know, and you talk about Cena and Undertaker. Okay, you know, Undertaker, he had a great career, and he comes around and wrestles once a year. He is a nostalgic look. The entrance, the promo, the wrestling should go no more than 10 minutes because he can't last more than that. Cena coming in and saying, okay, it's a nostalgia match. You're going to see it. You're going to have it. It's probably going to be in the middle of the card. It's going to be one of those matches where you really don't care who wins or loses. You just want to see a decent match.
Yeah. Yeah, now, Vito, Kid Rock's in the Hall of Fame this year. Kudos to him. I mean, I know we can go through celebrities and like Cyndi Lauper. She's not in yet, right? And
no.
I don't know the politics of bringing in celebrities if they need the payday and it's negotiations and how they determine it. Kid Rock's got the theme for WrestleMania. He's going to be there. We know the Biker Taker. Does he play in, even maybe if Taker comes out is the dead man with the gong and that traditional music, does maybe Kid Rock play American Badass before? Do you see anything like that happening? And if so, I could see that in the middle of the card, Vito. Kid Rock performs that song, and then boom, Undertaker and Cena's match happens in the middle.
Can I tell you something? And I'm gonna tell you something as a wrestler. Okay, and I know you guys respect me as not only as a person but as a wrestler. Okay, yes, sir. When you look at the Hall of Fame. Okay, Hall of Fame is supposed to be a prestigious thing for wrestlers who put their time in. Yep. Right? And as the years went on, you see them induct celebrities like Donald Trump or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Pete Rose.
Tyson.
Okay, now, I mean, they're great athletes, but they're not wrestlers. They didn't put no time in. So how did they get a job? Or how did they get that spot to go in there? They didn't leave their families. They didn't sacrifice their time, their bodies, their heads, their minds. They didn't go on the road. They didn't sacrifice anything to be in that position. They have accolades outside of wrestling that have come into the wrestling business. Now, there's no disrespect to Kid Rock. Does he deserve a spot over China or Owen Hart or Davey Boy Smith? No. Or any of the other people who I can name sit here today? Those are just a few off the top of my head. No. Do those people deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely, right? I'm sure you guys can come up with a few different other ones. I mean, Hulk Hogan is already in, but I'm sure you guys can come up with a few different guys.
Ivan Koloff.
Okay, there's another one, all right?
Vader.
Okay, Vader. Ivan Koloff. Guys who put the time in the business, who were world champions, who maybe didn't have the WWE pedigree, but still put their time in wrestling. And being that WWE bought all the umbrellas, they bring in all the superstars. They bring all the responsibility to them to put them in. Now, Kid Rock. Okay, what did you do for wrestling? You made some songs. Okay, thank you very much. You got paid for it. Do you deserve a spot over China? I'm using China because she deserves to be there.
Absolutely.
Yes, well, Vito, you notice they like to use that celebrity wing thing. So does WWE diminish celebrities into the Hall of Fame by saying that at all? Because maybe where they know.
It's a money grab, guys, and it's just something to sell tickets, to get the fans in. It's to get a different crowd to buy the pay-per-view and look.
Yeah.
So if you're just concentrating on the wrestling industry, now you got Kid Rock. Now you got Kid Rock fans. If he has 3 million fans and 1 million fans join and buy the WWE Network to see him inducted, they just made $9 million at $9 a piece. Okay, so they made $9 million. So if they pay him $1 million or a $500,000, they're going to make their money back and triplicate because it's Kid Rock.
Yeah, it's more
So
about
it's
making money than having a credible Hall of Fame.
It's just like Aaron, right? He comes up with the no DQ shirts, the beanies, the beach balls. Everybody says, okay, they shit on this, they shit on that. But man is making money, and he's trying to provide something with the no DQ logo. He's trying to provide something for the fans to have something of his brand.
Right.
And what does Aaron do? He makes a living doing this only. WWE is making a living at doing this only. So they're tapping every avenue to get to make money. And that's the name of the game. Why did they want Bruno Sammartino in the Hall of Fame? They paid him $5 million. How did they get Sting in? They paid him $5 million. Plus all the other stuff that is. So money talks, bullshit walks. When you want somebody and you want to make some money, you freaking bend the rules. And that's it, fellas. I mean, guys, go ahead and add to it.
No, you're absolutely correct. It's the Hall of Fame. It sounded like it started out with good intentions, but more and more it's become more about who can we induct that we can pay a ton of money to get the brand of the Hall of Fame over.
Yeah, and they're not even building a physical Hall of Fame either. I think they don't want to do it because it costs too much money.
Yeah, which is bullshit because all the people that they pay all this money to, they can put the money into the building investment too.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, guys, what happens if they actually make a wrestling Hall of Fame? You know, there's a legit wrestling Hall of Fame, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, now if they made a WWE Hall of Fame, where would they put it? And would you go to visit it?
Universal Studios. I don't know.
Well, I've heard they were talking about doing Orlando, which would make sense because you would have a lot of tourists coming in, and they have NXT there, and I think fans would go if they were traveling to Florida. And Florida,
I absolutely would. Yep.
Florida makes the most sense, I think.
Now, being that said, could you? And I know they could fill a whole 5,000 square foot building with nostalgia and replicas and wrestling history, from Gorilla Monsoon to Fabulous Moon to Vern Gagne to the present. So, would it be something that would be a shrine? Yes. Would it be a go-to? See, of course it would.
Simple. If Universal Studios allowed TNA to tape in their studios, why can't they construct a nice building on that premises, the WWE Hall of Fame, and make a partnership? I mean, I'm using them as an example because people would go. I think that would be fantastic because there are fans that would pay to go and see that. So
I mean, just for a championship title belt mark like me, all those belts are all over the office at WWE headquarters. Put them up on a wall.
Yeah, exactly. They have all this stuff. They have all this stuff sitting in the warehouse. Why not put it somewhere and make money off
the
of it?
arc of it? There's an archivist or whatever he's called. He always shows old memorabilia. Yep. Gosh, that would be perfect. But all right, so moving on because we do have a lot more to talk about. I want to go back. So at Fastlane, Asuka, surprisingly to me, she came out and appeared, I guess, to have challenged Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I find this fascinating. She was on Raw. You thought she was going for Bliss. Nia had her chance to get in to a match at WrestleMania what was the previous Elimination Chamber. So it really made you think she wasn't going to challenge Charlotte. So I just find that odd. So, Aaron, what's your thoughts on they decided to do this and now Asuka's going for the SmackDown branded women's title?
Actually, I mean, that was expected for a while because when Asuka won the Rumble, they specifically said that she could challenge for either brand's title. I think that was pretty much the giveaway that she was going to challenge Charlotte. And plus, Nia Jax has been involved in that feud with Asuka, excuse me, not Asuka, but Alexa Bliss over the past couple of months. So I'm not really that surprised that it went down that way, and I think Asuka versus Charlotte's a pretty strong match for WrestleMania. Maybe the biggest one they can do with the active female talent there, not including Ronda Rousey, of course. So I think it's a good move. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, I mean, they have built up a storyline with them, at least for the past couple of months. I mean, it kind of derailed when Enzo got fired. So we'll see if they can make that match something meaningful. But I think of the two matches, I think Asuka and Charlotte's definitely the stronger one. What do you think, Jeff?
Absolutely agree. I kind of figured from the start it'd be Asuka and Charlotte because that's the money title. The money match is Ronda Rousey, obviously, but the money title match is definitely the undefeated Empress taking on the Regal Queen, the champion. So having Alexa face Nia is a good story on that end because, like you said, Aaron, they built up, and they were going somewhere with the Enzo thing, and they had to scale back because he got let go.
Yeah.
So I think putting Alexa with Nia, having the whole best friend implosion storyline happen, and then having the best challenge the best on SmackDown is the perfect way to go.
Vito, I have a question for you on this, and I hope I'm not the only one. I'm sitting here thinking Asuka and Charlotte. As we look at it right now, babyface, babyface. AJ Styles Nakamura, which we'll talk about later, babyface, babyface. I would rather see Bliss versus Nia Jax because you got the heel versus the face. What are they catering to?
I think it's just a fan opinion of the aura of having Asuka and Charlotte Flair, being that Charlotte is the top women's wrestler in the industry today. Asuka is still going on her undefeated streak and being a badass. Now, in the upcoming weeks, guys, we're going to see if Charlotte is going to drop Asuka not once, but twice, but 3 times before the pay-per-view. And this is going to give you an inkling of who is going to win the match. Because if you see Asuka drop Charlotte, then you know that Charlotte is going to win. If you see Charlotte dropping Asuka, you know Asuka's going to get over.
Right.
You got to look at that kind of thing of who's getting the best of them going towards the pay-per-view. Who's got the up. I would hope that Charlotte keeps her title, because I don't think she should lose her title because she is the best. Asuka being undefeated, if they're saving it for Ronda Rousey for what's the next big pay-per-view after WrestleMania, guys?
Probably Money in the Bank.
Well, no, that's one of the big 5, but all the pay-per-views are now having both brands, so I think it's just Backlash.
That's true.
It's just the Backlash.
Yeah. Backlash is not big enough. What's the next one?
SummerSlam, Vito.
Okay, SummerSlam. Okay, thank you. So now you could see a SummerSlam match with Asuka and anybody of your choice.
Ronda.
Okay, Ronda Rousey. So now it gives them time to develop Ronda Rousey for her to go through the Raw lineup, become undefeated, and then get her feet wet. And then now you got Asuka against Ronda Rousey in a shoot-type match where Rousey's going to win the title, which she should, and Asuka's streak, which gives Ronda Rousey the extra oomph, and then puts Rousey on an undefeated streak like Goldberg and Lesnar, and puts her in that thing. But if you're going to do it any other way, it's going to be a waste of signing Ronda Rousey, a waste of Asuka. Oh, and I hate to say it, a waste of Charlotte Flair, because she is the only credible. You look at the SmackDown roster, I think Becky Lynch is a hell of a wrestler. I think Naomi is a good wrestler. I think Natalie has been there, and you get tired of her. Carmella, if she had kept her steam, she would have kept going good. She's not that bad. You do have some credible wrestlers there. On the other side of Raw, Sasha Banks has lost her luster. Bayley is definitely not believable. Nia Jax is definitely an immobile force. I would like to have seen them kept going strong with Dana Brooke, but she seems to get going and then they cut her. You know what I mean? And they cut her off. And then with the rest of the roster about who's believable, who deserves a hot streak, they've already gone through everything. Mickie James has been there, done that already. Alexa Bliss is probably the best second to Charlotte Flair. And she's done a great job as a heel wrestler. You know, and you know what? There's only so many hands to go around and so many different wrestlers to be had. But,
well,
go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Oh, that was Jeff.
Jeff, go ahead,
Vito,
Jeff.
With these 2 title matches, where would you throw Carmella in to cash in either side?
Guys, I've been saying this all along on WrestleMania. Ooh. Carmella has been doing nothing with this Money in the Bank. I would like to see her cash in on one. I would like to see her cash in on a men's match. I would like to see her cash in on the final women's match. And let's see all 3 attempts. this would bring excitement. Imagine Carmella running in on the Miz match, or the Bobby Roode match, or the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match, and her getting there with somebody knocked out, her throwing a thing and ringing the bell, and all of a sudden somebody sits up. There she goes. She takes off. Just the fact that she runs out, not embarrassing the women, but just the fact that she runs out and she had the balls to do it, that would be great booking. WWE, I hope you're listening. Give her 3 chances to cash in. And if you're going to take it away from her, take it away from her on the last one and let her lose. But if you're thinking about letting her lose on a one-time only, you can keep it. Let her keep the thing until next year. Because it don't mean
she's starting to get some wins, so maybe that's a foreshadow that they're getting ready to do it. And look, they have to, when she cashes in, she has to win the title. Because on that same pay-per-view last year, Baron Corbin, we all know what happened to his Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
They can't let both winners not.
Lose.
So Carmella has to win. So anybody, Vito, you're looking at my notes because you brought up Ronda Rousey. Anybody else want to talk about Asuka? I do think Charlotte needs to turn heel for this feud, but that's just my opinion. But before we move on, any last thoughts on that?
I'm not sure about turning heel. I just think that she needs to get way more aggressive. She's been too prim and wishy-washy.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Charlotte needs to get mean nature boy style. She needs to get aggressive.
Okay, I'll take that. So Vito, you're looking at my notes here, and you brought up Ronda Rousey, so we have to talk about her this time of year. But apparently WWE said, nope, you're not going to be on every Raw, and she was not on. Neither was Lesnar on Raw this week. So here's what I want to ask everybody here. Aaron, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
Did WWE make a mistake in letting Ronda Rousey already get to Stephanie McMahon? Go.
Yes, I think so. I don't think they should have touched. I think that was a mistake a few weeks ago when she took out Stephanie. I agree on that completely. I think, when Stephanie got out of the ring, I thought that should have been the end of the segment. When Stephanie got back in and then Rousey took her down with the Samoan drop. Yeah, I thought that shouldn't have been done. I think they should have saved it for Mania. I agree 100% on that.
Jeff.
Yep, completely improper move at this point. Ronda needed to not touch Stephanie at all until New Orleans. And I think her putting Hunter through the table worked because it was an oh my God moment, but her brutalizing Stephanie already. Again, if Stephanie gets her revenge at some point between now and Mania, gets Ronda down and then keeps her down, then it makes a little bit more sense. But to have Ronda just drop her and then go to Mania without any other touching, it won't work, I don't think.
So Vito, do you think there could be 100 reasons why Ronda wasn't there, and if they're going to have her on every Raw or just certain ones, do you think they kept her off and they took a step back because Stephanie or she already touched that?
Guys, remember what I just said about the touching and who drops who going into the pay-per-view, right?
Right.
So you're talking about, the bosses of the company. So now the bosses of the company are the elite. So now, right now, Hunter's taking bumps. Stephanie's taking bumps. They're getting the shit beat out of them. Like I said, whoever drops who first, those are the ones who are going to win. The person who drops. So Stephanie and Hunter are going to go over in this match. They're not going to pin Ronda. They're going to pin Kurt Angle.
Right.
That's a good point. Great point.
But
all right. So when you guys look at it, look at how it's happening. Ronda wasn't on this week. Okay, it doesn't hurt. She already got her hands on. Next time Ronda's on, she's going to grab Stephanie again. And she's going to keep on grabbing Stephanie. And she might even drop Triple H. But who's the scapegoat here? It's going to be Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle's
you like
totally
your job?
in the bad seat. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake, though. I think that's a mistake, though, to not have Ronda win her
How
first match.
How is it a mistake?
I think Ronda should
protect. You're trying to protect Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, but I don't think she should be losing her first match. I think she should have her hand raised, and that's what's going to be shown on ESPN.
It's a tag match. It's not her first match. It's not her singles match. You're missing the point. She's going to get the best of Stephanie, and she's going to whoop Stephanie's ass. That's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember the fact that they lost. You're going to remember that Stephanie handled, the way Ronda beat up Stephanie and the way everything was done.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the ESPN, like on their front page or whatever, they're going to show a picture, and I think the most effective picture is to show Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle with their hands raised up, and Kurt Angle is an Olympic gold medalist after all. So I think in terms of generating the most mainstream headlines, I think.
What about a screw job? What about a Vince Russo type of thought? What if Rousey is going to be on Triple H and Stephanie's side, and she drops Kurt and turns heel? I'm just saying, you know.
That would be interesting. I like that idea.
I definitely would not have seen that coming. So yeah, it'd be different.
Well, I mean, since Kurt misused, you know, the language in his children when he has 5, but he really has 6 because he forgot Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, thank you. I was going to somebody else said that.
Do you think is Jason Jordan medically cleared to show up and do something in this match, or is he? Okay.
He won't be.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
I hope not. I mean,
interesting.
I hope not too.
We'll talk more about Rousey too in the weeks to come leading to WrestleMania. Let's move on now to Daniel Bryan, conspicuous by his absence, and the whole Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn saga. So at Fastlane, Shane cost not only Zayn but Kevin Owens from the WWE Championship, which we knew AJ was going to, you know, keep the belt for that match. Where are they going with this? Is it going to be a tag team match? Is Shane and somebody going to face Zayn and Owens? I'm very curious because right now I don't have a clue where they're going with this. Vito, I'm going to start with you. And where the hell is Daniel Bryan?
I say Daniel Bryan is not cleared to wrestle. It's going to be a 3-way match. I think Daniel Bryan is going to be the special guest referee and screw over Zayn and Owens and give Shane the victory.
That sounds like a good prediction there. I mean, it could be a tag match, but I could also see it being a triple threat with Bryan being the referee. Definitely sounds like a very plausible match for WrestleMania. Jeff, anything you want to add to this?
I think based on what we're allowed to know about Bryan's medical condition, I think he'll, if anything, if he's going to be involved, he'll be the referee.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that Bryan will not be cleared by WWE doctors. It will not happen. We need to all just kind of move past that, and he'll be involved in some way. He was away from SmackDown because of a family issue, we were told last week, so he should be there on Tuesday, and we'll see what he says about what happened with Shane.
Yeah.
So, did we mention a tag team partner for Shane if they go that route? Ziggler?
Yeah.
I guess.
Or is it a triple threat? Like Aaron, I heard you say you didn't like the idea of a triple threat.
Well, somebody said Rey Mysterio is a possibility if he's cleared. I don't know if he's going to be cleared for that or not, but I don't know.
Right.
Maybe they'll do a triple threat and just tease more dissension, but I could see a tag match as well. I could see either one happening. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we don't know, time for like virtue.
I'm just gonna give you one thing.
Go for it,
guys. It's gonna be a triple threat because you want Shane to get his mojo back, right? You're gonna see Daniel Bryan coming, and you're gonna see him screwing over, you know, Zayn and Owens. But the thing you guys are missing is, where do you go with Zayn and Owens after this? They still didn't have their blow-up feud. So with one causing the other, saying you cost me, I cost you, I see them both having a little program as a one-off and having like, okay, some kind of match where the loser leaves SmackDown.
Yeah.
And one goes one way and one goes the other way. I could see Kevin Owens going back to Raw.
Yeah.
That's where we were most successful. But that's the program after this. If you're looking at it in that way, not looking at just that match. But
right.
Zayn and Owens, they don't have anything to go against. They've been against everybody.
Exactly.
If they do what I think they're going to do and have Reigns defeat Lesnar, which I hope doesn't happen, but it might, I'd like to see Kevin Owens go back to Raw and challenge Reigns for the Universal title.
There you go.
You know, just sit in your little box there. Okay, fans?
Shane's going over. Shane has not won a match he's been in since he's been back. So
that's
whether
true.
Whether it's a tag match or a triple threat or whatever they do with this, I think Shane's going to be victorious. I
agree on that. I agree on that.
Yeah. All right. Like Virtue likes to say, main event time, and this is where you have there's a line. You have the wrestling indie type fans, and you have the sports entertainment fans. I'm going to ask you a question, and everybody must answer this honestly. Will AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura be the best match at WrestleMania? And you must say why. I'm not just asking you this question because of the technicality of a Meltzer 5-star type match.
Right.
I mean captivating the crowd. Jeff, I will start with you. there's a lot of people that are really invested into this match. I don't know if I'm one of them. Go ahead.
Well, having seen what they did in New Japan when they had their match, I believe it was at Wrestle Kingdom. I could be wrong. It was a great match, and the indie wrestling fans, the wrestling not entertainment fans, feel they have something to live up to because they had such a great match when they wrestled in Japan. I think it will be the match of the night, absolutely, and I think that if they don't have the match of the night, it'll be a complete letdown for the hardcore indie fans. Sports entertainment fans, they're going to like it either way, I think, because they like AJ, they like Nakamura. I just don't think they're going to be as up for it as they will be for Cena Undertaker, as they will be for the Shane McMahon, as they will be for the Ronda Rousey match. I think it's not as the WWE sports entertainment fans aren't as invested in the title match as the other novelty matches.
Mr. Rift.
Well, I think it will technically be perhaps the best match. Will it be the most entertaining match? Will it be the most memorable match? That I don't know. I mean, I think if they get a good 20 to 30 minutes and they can go all out, I think it very well could be. I mean, let's face it, last year, pretty much everyone feels that Shane McMahon and AJ Styles was the best match. So AJ Styles pulled off the match of the night with Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
In the opener, might I add.
Yeah,
first match.
Now, the thing is, like, a lot of people are also down on Nakamura right now. They feel like he hasn't really lived up to the hype, you know, coming in from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this is going to be a real test for him. He's got the opportunity now. Hopefully the company will give him 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll see if he can live up to the expectations and have a match of the year contender with AJ Styles. As far as what match is going to be the most memorable, maybe John Cena versus Undertaker, maybe the Rousey match, but maybe they're all going to be disappointments. I mean, every year WrestleMania has a lot of hype every year, but then sometimes they don't really have the matches deliver to the hype. So it's really hard to
32.
say right now. Yeah, exactly. And it's such a long show, too. I feel bad for the match. You know, I feel bad for the match that goes on last with these 7-8 hour shows because the fans are just so burned out. Vito, what do you think?
Guys, I'm going to say that it depends on the placement of the match.
Yep.
Good point.
And I'm going to say it's not going to be the best match of the night because Nakamura has not put together not one solid match where you could say, oh my God, Nakamura.
Right.
You can say you've put together, oh my God, AJ Styles.
Right.
But Nakamura has been in there with everybody, and nobody has brought him up to speed. He was in there with Cena. He almost killed Cena. He's been in there with AJ Styles already. He really didn't do anything that was that great. He's been in there with all the other guys, and his matches are just vanilla. So it depends where they are. I don't think it's the time. Remember, less is more. The less they do, the better off they are. If it's a quick, hard-hitting match, 10 minutes the most, I think they'll get more out of it. Trying to go 20 minutes is not going to help them, guys. And Nakamura has not delivered that true star power pop match that where the indie people are going crazy. Nakamura's entrance is long. After he gets in there, he's boring. He's vanilla. He's Bobby Roode. He's mid-card. He's not the top of it. He doesn't have that star power. He's not a Strowman. And Strowman's not the greatest worker, but he doesn't have that elite. He's not Reigns. And Reigns is, everybody hates Reigns, but Reigns is up there. Everybody said John Cena sucked, but John Cena's up here, and he ain't that great of a worker. So, I mean, how do you determine it? And when you look at the mid-card guys like a Baron Corbin, a Ziggler, a Nakamura, you know, a Zayn, an Owens, that's where he belongs. In those middle echelon guys. Is he world champion material? No.
So you think it'd be a mistake for him to win the title from AJ?
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. That's why it depends where they are, how much time they have, and I don't think it's going to be the best match of the night.
And I agree with you, Vito. And what do you think the best match of the night will be?
Guys,
just curious.
You want to know who might, steal it? Now, if you're looking at all the pay-per-views that have happened, you look at the girls' matches, and the girls have pulled shit out of their ass like, nothing. And you might, something? It could be Charlotte and Asuka. Could be. But Asuka, if she gets to do her style, it could work. Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, I don't think that's going to be anything good, and I'm not taking anything away from the girls.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that when you look at it, Randy Orton is Randy Orton, unless he's really not in there with anybody. He's in there in a three-way.
Mahal.
I just think that it's just a toss-up. You're hoping Cena and Undertaker could present themselves at the top match.
Right.
But I honestly think it's going to be a toss-up on where every match is placed.
Yeah.
Because no match stands out to be the main event. I like the Miz matches, and I think the Miz is a solid worker. But, with Finn Balor and Rollins, remember like how they have the other matches where there's too many guys and too many high spots, and they try to jam in stuff? That's why I prefer the one-on-one stuff.
I agree.
But I think that, it's a toss-up. And guys, mark it down. I want everybody to keep their scorecard, and I want everybody to watch. It depends where you are on the card. There you go. Very good. You made the list.
The list
Well,
of El
wait.
Virtuoso.
Well, what am I marking down here? I want to make sure I get it right.
The number of the match, placement.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're looking at how much time they have over the match. And that's how you're going to get the perfect match of the night.
Yeah, because you have to consider how the crowd's going to react to the match. A match might be technically good, but the crowd might be burned out and tired, depending on when it happens. So that's something you have to factor in as well, the crowd reactions and just
now,
all
I got
these other
something
things.
for you guys. Who would you start the show off with?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we don't even have a full card yet, so it's really hard to say.
We got to pick, though. We got to pick. Out of what we know now, we got to.
Well, what is this going to be? What's going to be on the kickoff, or what's going to actually be the first?
What's going to be the first match of the main card? Yes. Aaron, I'm going to go to you first. What is the first match?
Oh man, okay. Well, I think maybe Charlotte versus Asuka, or maybe the Intercontinental title match. Actually, I think I would lean towards the Intercontinental title match will be the first match of the show.
All right. New guy, go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
Raw tag title match with Strowman.
Interesting.
You're starting off with Strowman.
That's
Yep.
bad.
All right.
Yep.
Go back to Coffee's Burning. El Virtuoso.
Because I'm when I look at WrestleMania, I look at Undertaker, Cena, Lesnar, Reigns, your special attractions like Rousey, Shane McMahon. The opening match of the main WrestleMania card will be the WWE Championship, AJ Styles for the second year in a row, kicking it off at the beginning of the WrestleMania card versus Nakamura.
WWE
And
title match.
it will go 20. Absolutely.
Guys,
that's my pick.
That's his pick. Gotta respect it. I'm gonna give you my surprise pick.
Okay.
I say they start off at Rousey and Kurt Angle with Stephanie and Triple H.
Ooh.
I like it.
I actually think that's a good idea. I don't mind that kicking it off, but
It's
there's no way Triple H is going out there first.
Yeah, but you got to remember, it's something new, something fresh. It's something the fans are going to be amped for, and they're going to want to see Stephanie get her ass kicked.
Yeah.
So what better way to wet their whistles with something they want? Plus, Kurt Angle's got segments at the end of the night. You got Stephanie and Triple H have to work the back the rest of the night. So it kind of is like a dual purpose. But I think the placement of that match should be lead off and then go
And think about this. It wouldn't put Rousey in a vulnerable spot maybe where people might be, tired and not into a match. Being in that first match, people are going to be hot.
They're ready for WrestleMania. They want to see something big.
All right, well, we got to wait and see. Anyway, my match of the night, I really think, and I'm really digging deep here, but I truly think when it's all said and done, more people are going to talk about Cena and Undertaker.
You think that's going to go on first? Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you're saying
no,
that's
not first. No. I said AJ Nakamura going on first. I think the match tonight, the most talked about match in a good way will be Undertaker and Cena. I'm just saying, That's it. I mean, we ran out of topics until next week. So, does anybody else have anything else they want to say, or
I just wanted to say that, I like the Rousey idea because AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, they went out first and they had the advantage of having the crowd all ramped up, ready to go.
Jacked up, ready to go. Yeah.
I mean, that would be a good way to pretty much guarantee that Rousey's match gets a good reaction and the crowd's not comatose for it. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea by Vito, but I don't know if Triple H and Stephanie's egos are going to allow that to happen, quite frankly. Yeah. Are they really going to go on first on the pay-per-view? I would be shocked. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I would be really surprised.
All right. Interesting. There you go. There you go. So, Jeff, what do you got? What do you got to tell everybody?
Well, I just want to take Aaron's position here and plug Bad Billy J belts on Etsy.
Yeah, there you go.
They send us some awesome stuff that goes around your wrist. We've got ones that go around your wrestling figures. Yeah. Billy, we love Billy. He's an awesome guy. He does great work for us, does great work for his customers. So check him out on Etsy. Aaron put the plug on his Facebook page. Yeah. So go check it out.
Yeah, it's Etsy.
Vito, that's right. Vito, that's right. There's somebody makes belts for action figures. Yeah, I know.
Hey, he's making
Vito's
good
going,
money.
what the hell?
You know what? You know what? Vito, I think you should look into this. Get some belts made and maybe.
Oh, what is great? Wait, Vito, don't move.
Wait, check with Vince Russo. Imagine the brand, Vince Russo's brand, having these belts. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, this guy makes some really cool belts. And
guys, you want to know what I got here? It's fucking balls, okay? Golf balls. That's what I'm fucking thinking. Jesus Christ, I can't believe you fucking action. Hey guys, look at my action figures in my bedroom. I got little belts for you guys. Come on. New guy.
Well, Jeff wore it as a bracelet.
Jeff,
Aaron did, not me. Aaron was wearing his bracelet, not me.
Yeah, I'm plugging it right here. There it is. Championship.
I have El Virtuoso. I have nothing. I can't even. Hi guys, buy my belts and buy this and buy that and my little kitty. Do you put them on your kitty cats and your dogs as ID bracelets? Tell me.
No, I actually have my son use them for his action figures. Actually,
might be able to put this around.
All right, I'll give you that.
I haven't tried it.
I'll give you that.
I don't want Peter
Vito,
to get on
Vito,
my ass.
Everybody knows they can find your stuff on Pro Wrestling Tees, on Collar and Elbow. I mean, do you want? Everybody knows your shtick, and they know where to go. And you got anything to add to it?
Guys, if you go to bigvito.com, I have an Amazon list. Look at the Amazon list. If you'd like to purchase something, hey, great. I have merchandise there. You see all my affiliates. Go to bigvito.com. Everything is there. I'm not here to do T-shirts. I'm not here to do little belts. I'm not here to present my grandma. All right? I'm just here as one of the guys. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Aaron. Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely check out bigvito.com. And really, I think Vince Russo should consider getting some of these belts made. I mean, a lot of people are making the belts, and indie promotions are doing it. It's a nice promotional tool, and this guy's actually making some good money doing this. He's shown me all of his different orders, so he's getting a lot of good business, and I highly recommend him.
And Aaron is giving these away at Chicago, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, to all the guys out there that can put them on their figures and stuff. Hey, it's a good promotional tool. What can I say?
Hey, Aaron, now you're going to WrestleMania, Aaron?
No.
Who's going to WrestleMania?
Virtue is, but he's not here.
Virtue is, right? Is he doing a table? Is he bringing anybody in? Is he representing the no DQ thing?
I believe so. He is. Yeah.
I didn't get a call to do anything, and I'm kind of heartbroken over it.
Well, I didn't even know he was going. He just told me like the other day, oh, by the way, I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm like, oh, cool.
Well, thanks for letting us know. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling him to come to Money in the Bank, but I don't know if he's committed to that yet. I mean, some people.
Well, what about me? Well, who cares about the new guy? Okay, whatever.
You got to pay your dues, my friend. You're still not there yet.
Here's the dues that I'm going to pay. So
hold on a second. As it is right now, right? You got Aaron, who's a senior member. You got me, who's second in command, because I do have service time here, and you got you two J-Bos who just Johnny come latelys.
It is what it is.
Vito, I told you to give me more time here, and this is what's going to happen. For everybody that doesn't know, before we went on filming this tonight, there was a little bit of heat with all of us, and I'm not going to get into details, but we just delivered one hell of a review show for you. And you know what I did? And you know what? I observed all three. It wasn't with me. I was Mr. Neutral, trying to keep everybody happy. I observed all three of you guys, and there is a winner. Every week now, while I'm on the show for another 6 weeks, I'm going to pick El Virtuoso's Review Panelist of the Week. And you all did a great job considering what we did off camera to now. Great show, everybody. And here's where people are going to say, oh, you're marking out for a wrestler. Vito, you came in hot before we went on the air, and you delivered. You, my friend, are the review panelist of the week, El Virtuoso.
Congratulations. No arguments with that one. I'm not going to contest it. Congratulations.
And I have no plugs, so if everybody's all satisfied, we'll see you next week.
When are you going to make a Twitter account?
Too busy of a guy.
I did the sign-off here, and you don't talk after the sign-off.
Hey, El Virtuoso, what do you get for being, like, you know, the panelist of the week? I mean, you know, you give away anything?
I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out.
We'll get some big Vito belts made.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, El Virtuoso, go ahead and sign us off.
I thought I did. See everybody next week.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
It's out of my hands, but I'm still in control. It's out of my hands. You can never take away the power of my soul.
Scan the QR codes to see what's upcoming for FTW Productions and what's available on demand right now. Button Master Stable Wars entire playlist. AEW Revolution Go Home Week, Dynamite and Rampage watch parties. Mistress Audio dramatic readings featuring voice actors from Weymouth Youth Wrestling. Elimination Chamber retrospective. WrestleMania Retros coming to the Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated channel. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play series. WrestleMania 19 Revenge Mode Let's Play series. All of A Simple Man's Brand Simply Predicting panels. both episodes of The Don DeMarco Show, AEW Spark, WWE Aftershock, every show week by week. The entirety of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play series. AEW Revolution watch-along coverage featuring Noah Foster and James Hebert. Wrestle Kingdom 17 coverage in conjunction with the Jeff Meacham Network. A Simple Take. WWE Simple Takes featuring Casa D18 Studios. Super Mario Bros. Z voice acting. Episode 3 coming soon. Breaking news. ATW View Impromptu. WYW Intro and Immortal Stream. Royal Rumble Match Marathon with retros of events following Marathon. Plugs have concluded. On to the video.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from A Simple Man's brand.
Into it.
Hey,
let me talk to you. How fucking good right now does it feel to be a fan of professional wrestling with what has happened this week in all things wrestling? Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good night, konnichiwa, wherever you may be. Hola. In this world, whether on live or on demand, well, it's going to be on demand, duh, but I am the Simple Man of ATW, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome once again to another simple ATW Spotlight, the forum that talks about things we enjoy, things we have seen, things we cannot believe, and things we think are to come to indeed, in all things wrestling. This and more will be discussed tonight, but first, allow me to introduce you to this panel of the ATW crew. I have with me, of course, the super elite King A-Train, and I say the preacher man, Casey Flynn. Gentlemen, talk about a wild past week of professional wrestling. Where do we begin? I mean, we've had a testimony of somebody who was once blind, but now he can see. Indeed, the cult of personality. We've had two bangers of Match of the Year candidates for Impact Wrestling's emergence from the X Division title. And last night, NXT UK, my God. And of course, we had so much more. So let's talk a bit about all things wrestling. And King, I'll start with you. First off, we just got done with AEW Dark Elevation. I know Ty Conti's still on your mind, but we've also had a lot of other fun stuff too. How are you? And what's been your biggest takeaway this past week in all things wrestling?
If I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm still trying to get over of what I cannot believe I saw on Friday night. I know you guys can't either, because to me, I feel like it's still a dream. That dream being that 7 years he was gone from the pro wrestling business, because he said it in his testimony speech and that promo, that heartfelt, passionate promo that he cut in front of a sold-out crowd, in front of 15,316 people in the United Center in Chicago. He said, August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling, meaning he left Ring of Honor to go to Sports Entertainment. In WWE, which back then it was ECW, but ECW had its ups and downs in 05 and 06 throughout, so forth. And then he said, August 20th, 2021, I'm back. I'm home, which he rightfully deserves, because we have missed CM Punk in the land of professional wrestling. That man on that microphone, when it comes to this era of talent, oh my God, you can't even put in words how much that he still got it on the microphone. As soon as he sat down in that Indian pose that he did in the pipe bomb in 2011 on top of the ramp on Monday Night Raw, it even got a big pop because of that. That's how you
know you are a legend in this era and one of the best to ever do it in professional wrestling, knowing that you have been missed. And yet, and for once, and I keep seeing this on Twitter throughout the whole entire week, the weekend, stop making fun of that dude that was crying on Friday night. Stop making fun of him, because all of us as a whole have probably cried during that moment, just like Punk did, because Punk had tears in his eyes as well, because he couldn't believe that the many people probably in Chicago and probably millions watching at home like we did on Friday night probably had tears in our eyes, or we was probably marking the F out like crazy. Either one of those two that had happened, because CM Punk, and I'll still what Casey used to say, when you get down to it, Punk is basically a staple in this era of modern wrestling. He is a staple. And when he still has that fan base in him that basically said, okay, I stopped watching wrestling because CM Punk left. That's how you know CM Punk has made a mark in your life. And then you hear the news of basically, oh my gosh, CM Punk is back in wrestling. He signed with AEW. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch AEW for the very first time. That's how you know CM Punk has that fan base that basically says, wherever he goes, I follow. But with people saying, oh, Punk's not a game changer. Punk's not a needle mover. Brian Alvarez and the rest of WrestleNomics have came out with the report of what happened on Friday night with the ratings. And during the debut episode, they drew a 740,000 viewership. And then their second episode, they drew, get this, folks, 1.129 million in viewership. And then yet on top of that, if you was to go on YouTube right now, CM Punk's his entrance is at 5 million views and his promos have 4.5. And he was trending all weekend on Twitter. If that don't tell you that Punk is not a game changer and not a needle mover, you need to wake up. You need to wake up, because what AEW is about to do is about to set the wrestling world on fire. If they haven't already, which they've already had with this Forbidden Door and people coming in through Impact, NWA, and who else? And New Japan.
Very well said.
Right. That's right. What basically, in conclusion of my take on this of Friday night, don't sleep. I've always said this to people: do not sleep on AEW. Don't sleep on them. Do not. Tony Khan knows what he's doing.
Exactly right. He does.
If I were to start a promotion, and if I were to have a booker or creative, I will hire Tony Khan, because Tony Khan knows what's right for professional wrestling. He knows what's right for us professional wrestling fans, and he knows how to give it to us in the best way possible.
I don't think anything else needs to be said regarding Friday night except CM Punk. Welcome back to professional wrestling in what is forever going to be probably the greatest wrestling pop of all time. Man. That being said, Casey, he talked about Friday night, but let's talk about other things going on in wrestling. I propose this to you. Last night, we saw probably the last NXT takeover as we know it. Truth be told, the main roster, it deflated us as professional wrestling fans with the way they treated these incredible pro wrestlers on the main roster, in and out of the live television. A couple of matches, though, definitely exceeded, I felt like, expectations set by us, lapsed NXT fans, because of Vince's bullshit. One in particular, I know you're going to talk about heavily. That being said, I want to get your thoughts on what impacts you the most this past week in all things wrestling besides Friday night.
All right. I mean, Friday night, with CM Punk returning to AEW, it is good for the wrestling world, because the man's been gone for 7 years. And like King said, do not count out AEW and Tony Khan, because Tony Khan is a master genius when you get down to it. And
no argument. No
when
argument.
you get that, and Sunday night, what we seen with NXT Takeover 36, we seen a lot good matches on that card, and it was truly the end of a Triple H era. I mean, even though when I was watching the Raquel and the Dakota Kai match,
I knew he was going to talk about that.
disappointed that
Yep, here we go.
Dakota Kai lost and all, but you know what? I'm still proud of her. No matter what, she hanged in there and put up a great fight, and she has a heart of a champion and has warrior spirit, and she has iron guts. She hung right in there, Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai. I mean, she always gives it 100%, and she's very capable of putting on instant classic matches. And I have nothing but the absolute utmost respect for her. But the show stealer of that night, last night, Walter versus Ila Dragunov for the NXT UK title.
Oh my
absolutely
God.
loved the back and forth action between those guys, because Ila Dragunov's chest, he is one tough son of a bitch taking all those chops by Walter. I mean, his chest looked like it was sunburnt lobster beet red. And Walter and Ila Dragunov, I mean, that match right there stole the show last night. And that should outright get match of the year. And Walter and Ila Dragunov have iron, you know what, to go back and forth. I mean, those two men told a great story in that match. And Ila Dragunov, that guy right there is a warrior with how he took those chops from Walter. Now that I'm going to get to the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly match.
Baby.
Now the Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly match. Now, what I believe is that was the last time that I and all of us have seen Adam Cole in the WWE ring, because Adam Cole definitely wanted to put over Kyle O'Reilly in that match on his way out. And where do I see Adam Cole going next? I see him heading straight to AEW, because with the Young Bucks teasing about the ghost, I think we ain't going to see Adam Cole on Dynamite anytime soon, because I say after All Out concludes, that is when you're going to see Adam Cole in AEW. In the main event.
So you're predicting
Go
Wednesday,
ahead.
September 8th, when Noah gets to be there in Cincinnati, you think Adam Cole going to show up on the fallout of All Out on Dynamite?
I really do. I think Adam Cole is going to show up after All Out, because it would be a bad time to debut Adam Cole in AEW right now when it's All Out building up. I mean, that's how. I mean, you don't want a talented wrestler like Adam Cole getting lost in the shuffle like that. I mean, save him to after All Out, to where his first match in AEW will be whoever it is. I mean, no matter what. The main event, the Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe for the NXT title last night. Karrion Kross, I definitely heard from the crowd, we want Scarlet chants erupting. But Karrion Kross, right? I mean, he's got a banger entrance theme, no doubt about it. But it is not the same when he walks by himself. I don't care how much light or how much smoke you put in there. That is not going to change a thing.
No.
The solution to that problem is Scarlet, because Scarlet absolutely makes the entrance right there. She makes Karrion Kross what he really is. And Karrion Kross, no disrespect to him, but he is going to get lost on Monday Night Raw like crazy. He is going to, I mean, if that's a bigger demotion than anything, that is it right there. Because Karrion Kross, he ain't going to know he ain't going to know where the hell he's at in the shuffle on Monday Night Raw. I mean, I don't care how much good matches he puts up. He is not going to make it on Monday Night Raw under Vince McMahon's regime. Because Vince McMahon has favorites when you get down to it. And on Monday Night Raw, you don't see anything of professional wrestling. The art of professional wrestling is not there. It's like right there in the shitter. It is in the shitter. Professional wrestling on Raw is in the sewer and all that stuff. Where we saw professional wrestling was NXT last night, because it was mixed in with NXT right there. And NXT, that atmosphere is not going to be the same since Triple H has no control over that anymore, because the atmosphere is going to be long dead, because NXT is going to be reduced to Raw and SmackDown. And NXT was the life saver. It kept WWE afloat. I'm not saying WWE is in trouble financially. They're good financially. The only thing you need to fix is the scripts, and quit making it overly scripted. Let the wrestlers be themselves and let them cut their own promos, but stay within the script, but not overly script the thing, because that takes away their element. I mean, Rhea Ripley, when you get down to it, she was great in NXT. They reduced Rhea Ripley absolute nothing like an NXT bust on Monday Night Raw, because Ripley, I like her and all, but if it wasn't overly scripted, Rhea Ripley would be great on the mic. I mean, the overly scripted promos is what is killing Rhea Ripley and all the other wrestlers, because wrestlers in WWE don't do so great with overly scripted promos, because it's hard on them. And if you make it less scripted, they could do great on the mic and be in a comfort zone on the mic. And you don't see overly scripted shit with AEW, because AEW, you get to say literally any damn thing you want, but stay within the lines of wrestling, and there's much more creative freedom with AEW than there is with WWE. And that's all I got to say about that.
My brother testified. Like I said, for his first-time listeners, he is the preacher man. It's as simple as that. But yeah, let's go ahead, and I agree with both of you gentlemen on all points. It certainly has been a wild week, to say the least, on all things wrestling. Speaking of which, we started last week. Friday night things really picked up with Emergence. Incredible match of your candidate as honestly one of the best wrestlers of the year, it's gotta be Josh Alexander. But Jake something proved, no pun intended, something when he took Josh Alexander to the absolute limit in an absolute incredible physical war. Why Josh Alexander is still the X Division champion. We gotta wonder if he's gonna cash in option C or who will step up to him next. We do know who's next to challenge him though after the four-way dance, because Ace Austin took advantage of an opportunity set up by Sammy Callahan to pin Moose. He will now challenge Josh Alexander, I imagine, at the next Impact Plus monthly special. As we move on from there, you guys suddenly alluded to it at the first dance. History was made and professional wrestling was reignited in a lapsed community when a man gave his testimony why he came back, why he got sick of it in the first place and lost himself. Truly where you would think he may have never recovered, but yet he did. CM Punk is back in professional wrestling. He is all elite, and we officially know who he's going to face first. It is Darby Allin. And while he wasn't able to tell us everything, he will, of course, speak to us more this Wednesday upcoming on AEW Dynamite. As you alluded to, NXT TakeOver 36 felt like a love note to how he really felt about the NXT era ran by Triple H. While it's been lapsed, per se, with the dumb shenanigans pushed by this network showcasing on the USA Network and bringing talent in between the brands, too, not to mention randomly just moving talent out of nowhere to Raw or SmackDown to be in dark matches or squashes, I gotta say NXT 36 was a love note towards why we loved this brand in the first place. And while it's not gonna change overnight into the inevitable, we can say thank you and pray the best for all involved. That being said, Walter Ela Dragunov, my play-by-play cannot do it justice, folks. You need to go watch this match if you're a fucking professional wrestling fan. And that's all I gotta say about it. I've watched it 3 times now. The brutality, the violence, the emotion, the story.
Yes.
The absolute
That's right.
feeling of accomplishment, overcoming not only a demon in your own mind and heart, but something you felt truly was impossible, yet you told yourself it was not. And you took everything and more, and you brought it and you did it. As Ela Dragunov finally dropped that Lean General 880 days, the longest reigning champion of the modern era under this big W company in all of its brands, but NXT UK is the only professional wrestling brand. I stand by that. Congratulations, Ela Dragunov and Walter. Thank you. I have no idea what's next for Darlene General, but something tells me NXT UK, as long as he stays on there, will always remain sacred. That being said, we got a loaded AEW Dynamite ahead of us, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about last week's Dynamite, because I don't know about y'all, but that felt like a pay-per-view level show too. Not to mention another one-of-a-kind moment where 6,000, 8,000, whatever the hell you want to count, 1,000 fans in Houston came together to sing, once they got together, Judas, and accompanied Jericho to the ring. It was something you really have not felt in a long time, where the professional wrestling world was unified in support and interest of this match and of Jericho, one of the greatest of all time. Along with that, of course, we had him face MJF in the final labor, when unfortunately gold turned to ash as he forced to tap out to the salt of the earth. But my God, what a saga. And again, MJF, he backs up what he says. He's better than you, and you know it. We also had another banger with the Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears feud, where both men elevated their game to a whole nother level in an instant classic Avalanche C4 kick out, 630 splash kick out, and it took a freaking GTA to the very end to finally put down the chairman. One thing's for sure, Sean Spears, he is a damn good, dedicated professional wrestler, and he is truly something special to see in singles. That was a phenomenal match. By the way, totally, you better watch your ass with Aubrey Edwards. That's all I got to say about that. Of course, we had so much more. Penelope Ford, Thunder Rosa, in her new makeshift land of Texas, being her home turf, had a great singles match, about 8 minutes. Unfortunately, Penelope Ford had to do it in street clothes. Kudos to her and what she was able to bring in that attire. We also, of course, had an AEW World Tag Team Championship match with Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. And they came this close, King. I know you were sweating. But the Young Bucks did successfully retain. But we know it's ahead for them, too, as we head towards All Out, a tag team eliminator, where one team out of 4, well, we're down to 3 at this point, will face your Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships at All Out. in a steel cage. This and so much more happened last week on AEW Dynamite on another tremendous show. Impact Wrestling, of course, it retired an era and respected a name. As Christian retired the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to strictly now put the focus on Impact Wrestling going forward towards the future. And he and Brian Myers, I gotta admit, Brian Myers, that was one of his better matches in his Impact Wrestling career. I was fairly impressed. What also impressed me was Melina's in-ring debut as she came forward to Impact Wrestling too, and with an amazing submission, got the win over returning Brandy Lauren. Congratulations, welcome back to Impact Wrestling. This and so much more occurred on Impact Wrestling as well. As New Japan Strong continues its resurgence of the New Japan of America brand, Matthew Raywalt, Matt Morris, the Drama King, whatever you want to call him, he made his in-ring debut in a successful victory too. And Daniel Garcia has made his way now to New Japan Strong and basically teamed up against, I would like to call them, the LA Dojo Truists, Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, and TJP in a great trios match where, of course, the LA Dojo Trio won. By the way, shout out to Daniel Garcia and the match with John Moxley this past Friday on Rampage. That was a very good match. The only thing I gotta say about this past Friday's Rampage, Jay Cargill, Kiera Hogan, they got the shaft. I really was hoping for more. I think those two give us a banger, and I still feel like Jay Cargill is untested. And that's my little summary of all things wrestling. But because I will acknowledge it, because I'm sure we want to talk about it, we also had SummerSlam, and at least a couple of things worthwhile happened. One, Becky is back, but do not turn her into Becky Lesnar, as Bianca got squashed in what you told me was 27 seconds. Edge finally overcame his freaking demon in Seth freaking Rollins, and I gotta say it, that was probably match of the night, as both resorted to literally a pedigree, and even Edge at one point used the Grand Slam. It was ruthless aggression, though, literally pounding Seth's head into the mat, where he finally made the Messiah tap out in a banger of a match. I must say, I was truly impressed. And I will definitely give the Tribal Chief his due, because let's be honest, it's the only thing the main roster has going for it too, and that's part of the flaw as well. But I will give the selling for Roman on the near falls to Cena's offense, including the Avalanche AA and multiple roll-up maneuvers. It looked like John Cena was going to win, but he didn't. He ultimately fell to the Tribal Chief's spear, and the Tribal Chief got the 1, 2, 3. And as we wonder what was next for Roman Reigns, we have not seen this done since 2003, if I remember correctly. But apparently Brock Lesnar is back as a babyface. I have no idea what the hell's ahead. It seems like WWE is desperate right now to keep things going with the Tribal Chief. And the biggest thing I gotta wonder here is, where does Paul Heyman stand? This is probably the only thing right now that truly intrigues me about the WWE, as Raw still is crap to me. But I will acknowledge SmackDown because I want to see what's next for the Tribal Chief. And congratulations to the new United States Champion, Raw Tag Team Champions, the Usos retained as well. Why they had Nakamura and Boogs as an impromptu music segment, I have no idea. And sports entertainment is not pro wrestling, it's the alternative. Get your shit together. Miz and Morrison sucks. That being said, that's all I gotta say about that. That's my little tangent rant. And again, NXT 36 delivered. I really enjoyed the show. Congrats to Samoa Joe on becoming the new champ. First ever 3-time NXT champion. And Kyle O'Reilly finally overcame Adam Cole. Baby. And we'll see what's next for, in my opinion, the greatest NXT superstar of all time. Now, before we get into this Wednesday's Dynamite, which is definitely going to be our highlight of the week, I also want to bring acknowledgement to the NWA, who this weekend have NWA 73, where the Nature Boy returns home, and an all-women's special. I'm not going to call it an all-women's pay-per-view. I'm not going to call it a freaking must-see, one-of-a-kind deal. I'm not going to hype it up to be something higher on a monarchy, because honestly, like CM Punk, you don't need to. This is something special to bring a light to women's professional wrestling, and that alone should be enough for people to tune into this one-of-a-kind showcase where we're going to get women tag team champions, 2 women time match classics where worlds collide, as the knockouts and the NWA Women's World title will be on the line, and a 10-woman invitational where the winner will face the NWA Women's World Champion the following day in NWA 73, and multiple appearances as well, including Diamante, which I absolutely love. Now, before we get into AEW Dynamite this Wednesday to conclude our spotlight, is there anything else on y'all guys' mind that I might have missed or sparked your interest? King, I will start with you.
All right. So we were talking about the whole Becky and the whole Brock situation, correct?
That is correct.
Well, Dave Meltzer, according to last night, right during TakeOver, or no, after TakeOver went off the air, Vince decided to pull a little fast, sneaky one on Becky. What I'm about to tell y'all is basically, it didn't work the first time. What makes you think it's going to work the second time? As Vince McMahon has decided to turn Becky Lynch heel once again on the SmackDown brand. Now, remember what happened? The SummerSlam in that triple threat between Carmella, Becky, and Charlotte. Charlotte won, and then Becky gave her a hug, and then Becky clocked Charlotte in the face. And then that was supposed to be Vince saying, okay, Becky's a heel. Okay, excuse me, Vince. That backfired because everybody else cheered for Becky that night. Everybody, but that was very much a mega babyface for Becky right there in that moment.
Yep.
And now, what makes you think that's going to work the second time? Because if it didn't work the first time, what makes you think it's going to work the second time? Because Becky is still over. No matter how many you look at the result of that 27-second match, Becky is still over with some of these fans. She's still over. So it's not going to work. Which questions my mind, which it doesn't really surprise me because the old man is desperate, which brings me to my second bad news. Actually, not really bad news. It's more of a desperate type of move of Vince.
Sounds like a Hail Mary. Sounds like a Hail Mary to me.
So also what Dave Meltzer said, or Mike Johnson, Dave Meltzer said on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Brock was not supposed to come back Saturday night. He was not. He was initially supposed to come back in 2023, 2024 for WrestleMania 39 or WrestleMania 40 to have his match with Roman. And Andrew Zarian of Matman Podcast said this was the answer to the return of CM Punk to pro wrestling on AEW Rampage. This was the answer according to Vince. This was the counterproductive to CM Punk was to bring in Brock this early. Remember what I said just now. Brock was not supposed to come back until 2023 or 2024 to set up a feud with Roman after Roman gets done with Rock. So with that being said, this was Vince being desperate to call in Brock to say, you know what, how can we do this? How can we do this to counterproduct what AEW did with CM Punk? They got CM Punk. Oh, let's call in Brock. We got Dwayne already scheduled in November for Survivor Series in Brooklyn in November. So we can't get him on board to November. So we're going to call in Brock. You supposed to come back in 2023, 2024? Guess what? Change of plans. We're going to bring you in early to set up this match with Roman, which Vince is desperate. Vince is scared. Vince is clueless.
That's right.
He does not know what to do. Punk has shook the man's confidence. It only took one person to shake this man's confidence, and that's what CM Punk is now doing with Vince McMahon now being desperate of calling in Brock on Saturday night.
Wow. All right, then. And by the way, what a hell of a look for Brock Lesnar. The ponytail. You know what's funny? According to what I heard, and side note, folks, I do not have notifications on my phone, nor do I randomly scroll, nor do I follow dirt sheets or buy into rumors, hype, and all this innuendo of ratings, crap, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Keep that to yourselves. King, thank you for that information. And the only thing I really follow is PW Insider at times and the Wrestling Observer and NoDQ Sport NoDQ. That being said, Brock Lesnar, welcome back. And according to what I heard, apparently Brock Lesnar fought John Cena afterwards and got a babyface type reaction to that too. So it just goes to show, yeah, when in doubt, put the money out. We'll see how this plays out on how often Brock Lesnar shows up too. But interesting thoughts. Before we get into AEW Dynamite this Wednesday, Casey, do you have anything further to add regarding anything in all things wrestling, what I disclosed, what King disclosed, or anything on your mind?
When you get down to it, though, here's one thing I gotta say.
Go for it.
I did not like how they did Becky Lynch last night by turning her into Becky Lesnar by straight up Bianca Belair.
Lesnar. Poor Bianca, man. That was ouch.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
When you get down to it, I didn't like how Bianca Belair was treated like that, because when you come to it, Bianca Belair should have at least made Bianca put up a fight with Becky Lynch. I mean, Bianca was ready to go versus Becky Lynch when she showed up. Bianca and Becky could have at least had a match when you come down to it, because if Bianca, that was just wrong, had a straight up treated Bianca out by losing to Becky Lynch within seconds. Bianca Belair is a great wrestler at that. She should not be treated like that. And Becky Lynch shouldn't have agreed to defeat Belair like that. Becky should have came up with an idea where she said to Vince McMahon, Vince, with all due respect, sir, I don't agree with this idea about beating Bianca Belair within seconds that fast. When you come down to it, I'd rather Bianca Belair put up a fight, but if you want her to drop the title, that's fine with me. But Belair should at least put up a fight with Becky Lynch. A hard fought effort, but in the end gets outsmarted by Becky Lynch. That's where the story should have went, instead of Belair losing that fast, because it didn't make both of them look good. It made Belair look bad by losing within seconds, and Becky look bad by beating Bianca that fast. And Roman Reigns in the John Cena match with the main event, John Cena, I mean, he was that close to beating Roman, but I knew Cena was going to fall as another victim to Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge me.
Because when you come down to it, though, the Brock Lesnar appearance at the last second was desperately a desperate move by Vince McMahon, because CM Punk, like King said, shook Vince's mind and his confidence. And this was Vince McMahon in a meeting with his creative, hearing about CM Punk's return to AEW last night after 7 years. Damn it! That son of a bitch, CM Punk, showed up after 7 years on AEW. Where? Bruce, damn it! Where's Brock at? We need to call Brock up. Get his ass to SummerSlam. I don't care where he comes from. I don't care if he drives here. I don't care if he flies here. Just get his ass to SummerSlam, damn it.
That's right.
Brock.
Also,
can you get here to SummerSlam?
Before we conclude this ATW Spotlight,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Before we conclude this ATW Spotlight, as Noah will give us, conclusion, one more touch I want to add, and this touch is Becky. Becky Lynch News added on to what I just said about Becky. Becky was not initially supposed to be at SummerSlam. Want to know why? Because they knew about Sasha not being inactive for the past 8 days, but yet they continued to false advertise and false promote and show the video package between Bianca and Sasha just for Greg Hamilton to come out after the promo package saying Sasha Banks will not be here tonight to compete against Bianca Belair. When Vince and Bruce and Johnny and Nick knew that she's been inactive for the past 8 days, but they still let it happen anyway. Becky was not supposed to be at SummerSlam. Becky was not supposed to win the SmackDown Women's Championship in 27 seconds, but Vince wanted to add shock factor into that match, and that's coming from Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter as well.
Wow,
Dave Meltzer. Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because Becky would not do that unless there's a bigger plan, I feel like, in mind for her and Bianca, because Becky, I feel like, respects professional wrestling. Keep in mind, Becky wanted to drop the title to Shayna Baszler, sorry, Megan, back at WrestleMania 36. Vince said no. This has to set up a true one-on-one match with Bianca and Becky, an all-out classic to truly see who's the better woman. I felt they just did that because they wanted to give time to something more stupid like that water gun shit. But I digress. That being said,
my God.
I'm sorry. That being said, fat Shane McMahon, Nick Khan trying to freaking ruin NXT and everything we know that was good with WWE as professional wrestling fans, not sports team enthusiasts, whatever. As of course we know, we're going back to in October, and not even Hayon, I call it Hayon, not even Hayon wants to come back and predict this bullshit. So, yeah.
All right. Here's what I got to address real quick.
All right.
Goldberg in the Bobby Lashley match.
Oh, shit.
For the WWE Championship.
Here we go.
All right. What a clusterfuck of a match that was. Bill Goldberg should not be anywhere in a ring his age. He should be retired for his 50s. Especially the one spot where Bobby Lashley was on top of the turnbuckle and Goldberg threw him off the turnbuckle. I mean, he could have broken Bobby Lashley's neck. Bobby Lashley could have been seriously injured at that spot because Bill Goldberg cannot even lift up Bobby Lashley. I mean, this was twice now. First, he almost killed The Undertaker. Thank God The Undertaker is retired now. And Bill Goldberg almost killed Bobby Lashley with that slam. Because when you get down to it, this match between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, it should not happen in Saudi Arabia. It should not happen at all. Bill Goldberg should be staying retired from a wrestling ring in 2021. He's not in his early 30s anymore. This is not 1998 when he won the WCW heavyweight title and held the WCW US title at the same time. This ain't Monday Night Nitro in 98 where he beat Howie Wood, Hulk Hogan for the WCW title. Because Bill Goldberg is not a 30-something-year-old man anymore. He is in his 50s. He should be long retired like any other legend in the professional wrestling business. Goldberg should not be wrestling any of these new talent of today. He could seriously kill one of them. He could seriously injure them by doing one spot wrong. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well said. You know, it's amazing when you got people like Kaiji Moto, like Sting, who was in his first TV match on TNT in 20 plus years, and freaking aced the freaking match for Tornado Attack this past Wednesday with Darby Allin and 2.0. 2.0 rules. That was freaking entertaining. What else? Kaji Muto, of course, who still wrestles, freaking champion professional wrestling. Noah, CM Punk in his 40s, here to work with the young guys. He hasn't done anything different, but he never lost his will to keep his body in shape. And we are in for an instant classic at All Out. But yet you have this old Great Biscuit, relic of the past, work hazard, worse than Nia Jax. There, I said it. Literally threatening your WWE champion and the Undertaker's life. Yeah, brilliant, Vince. Such good shit. But well said, Casey. All right. Well, that being said, folks, you now know what we feel about Goldberg. Yeah. Let's go ahead into our final thing of the evening as we look towards Wednesday. And by the way, great AEW Dark Elevation tonight. Dante Martin. Holy hell. Get this guy a match with AJ Styles. Man. That's all I gotta say.
I want up you. I'll take a match with Ray Phoenix.
Okay, yeah, that's more realistic.
Hey,
that's more realistic to happen.
I got another one.
What you got?
I'll take Dante Martin versus Kenny Omega or Andrade. Kenny Omega versus Dante Martin or Kenny Omega versus Andrade.
La Sombra.
But the instant classic that has pay-per-view quality written on it, Dante Martin versus Kenny Omega. Oh my God. Can you imagine if that match took place between the Best Bout Machine versus Dante Martin? That is willing to be an instant classic match of that night.
May I also
both of these guys can go in the ring.
Well, not to mention Dante Martin is only 20 damn years old. Wow. Again, AEW, young, youthful, inspiring, risk-taking, wild, diverse, dynamic roster of greats of the past and future legends to come, in my opinion, with this stacked roster constantly growing and thriving for our love and interest of professional wrestling. And it's not letting up this coming Wednesday, as we got Orange Cassidy taking on Big Money Matt. The Varsity Blondes take on the Lucha Brothers in the Tag Team Eliminator Tournament, where the winner will go on to face Jurassic Express this Friday on Rampage to determine who challenges the Young Bucks at AEW All Out September 5th in the Steel Cage. CM Punk will make his first Dynamite appearance, and who knows what he's got to say after already calling out Darby Allin. Malachi Black takes on Brock Anderson, who looks to defend the honor of his father and the Nightmare family. But I think the House of Black is about to claim another victim. And after 2.5 years being gone, Jamie Hayter is back. Now All Elite taking on Red Velvet. And Dr. Britt Baker, the
Stir it up.
There you go. Will be, of course, in her corner along with Rebel, not Reba. And I expect this to be a very interesting match and see what this new Jamie Hayter brings besides a brand new look. This and so much more in the most unpredictable, wild, fantastic, exciting 2 hours of professional wrestling television every week, live on TNT, AEW Dynamite. With that being said, gentlemen, what are you most looking forward to? Casey, I'll start with you.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward this Wednesday night is not only what CM Punk has to say when he makes his first Dynamite appearance.
And yes, I ordered the shirt.
There's a couple matches.
I did too.
There's a couple matches that I'm looking forward to. That's the stirred up queen herself, Red Velvet, versus Jamie Hayter in tag team match with the Hollywood Blondes. Varsity Blondes.
Bosh.
Excuse me with the bosh. Excuse me with the bosh.
I know why he said that. I understood why he said
Blondes.
that, though.
Varsity Blondes. I was Varsity Blondes versus I forget 2.0.
Lucha Brothers.
Whoa. Don't disrespect the Lucha Bros like that.
Hey, give them a break. We've been going for a while.
I mean, mine. All right.
That's why I'm trying to keep this under an hour.
Let me say this again. Let me start over.
Recovery.
Varsity Blondes versus the Lucha Brothers.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to the tag match, and Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy.
Delete.
But I sense an orange punch coming Matt Hardy's delete way. And Malachi Black versus Brock Anderson,
Oh boy.
who's accompanied by his father, Arn Anderson. Brock Anderson, here's one thing I gotta say about that. Good luck in because Malachi Black is gonna kick your head off your shoulders, kid, and he's gonna score a goal with your head when he kicks that
It's good.
head off your shoulders.
Just like what Ty Conti
Brock
did tonight.
Anderson. But
Yes, he
Malachi
did.
Black, I see Malachi Black easily winning the match over Brock Anderson. But I will be very surprised if Brock Anderson puts in a good match with Malachi Black and he takes Malachi to his limits. But I just don't see it happening. Malachi's going to catch him with one of his kicks, and Dynamite. It's going to be a good show on Wednesday night. And I see Darby Allin interrupting CM Punk in Punk's promo, and Darby Allin and Punk are going to come face to face with each other to build their match towards All Out that night.
Well said.
So,
That being said, Brock Anderson going to House of Black, but if Lee Johnson show me anything against Miro, don't count out Brock Anderson. Again, this is an Anderson. He's got a tough will, and he's going to try and drop Malachi on his head. And you got to wonder what is next with Malachi Black when he says, "You're coming after me." It's like challenging God in a sense, it seems. You got to imagine eventually he and Cody are going to go for round 2. He only said he got the job half done. And we also got to consider who will step up to face Malachi Black, because clearly I see him being involved at AEW All Out. Almost thinking Dustin might. That being said, I'm definitely looking forward to the tag team match. Another great AEW Dark Elevation tonight, where the Varsity Blondes, of course, overcame their tag team opposition. The Best Friends overcame HFO, TH2, along with the Blade, with Bunny in the corner. And Matt Hardy sent and Orange Cassidy to delete Sean. So we'll see if it actually happens this Wednesday. Ty Conji once again as King. Suddenly I learned I told with an accent. Definitely picked up another great win with her attitude. If y'all haven't figured it out, King is a huge Ty Conti fan. Okay, just saying that. But who's not? Okay, Ty Conti's freaking awesome. And she basically dropped Promise Braxton on her head with the DD tie in a very nice, fun match. Again, Dante Martin and Anthony Bowens, they showed out tonight what they are capable of doing and how they're continuing to expand and grow in their ways. And of course, we had the Lucha Brothers and Death Triangle as a whole, the Bastard Pac, taking on Dark Order, in Evil Uno and Alpine Angels, winning a trios match with El Iglo watching from ringside. Didn't seem really impressed. But as confirmed last week on Dynamite, it is official. The Bastard Pac will take on Andrade El Iglo at All Out. Something tells me things are going to combust before then, though, if any sign tonight showed anything. But I also got to wonder, what is the state of the Dark Order at this point, without Broy Lee, without Anna Jay, without the Hangman, which it seems like most of them are trying to honor his wish, but still, several of them are fickle. And it was a miscommunication that literally caused Dark Order tonight, and almost a separation occurred tonight, it seems, as Alan 5 left the rest. Evil Uno and Copeland on their own. It almost feels like Dark Order is falling apart from the inside. And this is like the earliest of factions to come into AEW. And it just seems like it's falling apart at the seams. It's a very odd situation, in my opinion, considering the dichotomy in the Freebird style the Dark Order uses in all their matches, 4-man, 2-man, 3-man, singles, you name it. So, and they're so strong as a unit. It's a very weird time, I feel like, in the Dark Order. Maybe Anna Jay, you need to come back and restore some law and order as human resources. You may not be able to wrestle, but I know you will one day, Queen Slayer, but I feel like your family needs you now more than ever. Just saying. And of course, we gotta wonder what else might happen as Miro did call out Eddie Kingston. Will Eddie or Miro follow up with an answer? And what does the future hold for Jon Moxley since New Japan Pro Wrestling decided that Hiroshi Tanahashi will not be participating in All Out, but will be going back to Japan to take on Kota Ibushi, his first challenger called out for the IWGP US title at MetLife Dome at Wrestle Grand Slam. This and so much more happening in professional wrestling these coming weeks. And of course, this week will be headlined this weekend by the NWA. But overall, I'm just really excited for everything. So with that being said, folks, we'd love to hear your thoughts, what you think about this week in all things wrestling. Will you be looking at these shows this weekend? I order the bundle. I certainly will. What do you hope to see next in all things wrestling? Do you want to hear us talk more about all things wrestling? And shout out to our brother, the Enforcer Lex, who was live in part at United Center with my NoDQ brother, Big G, who's getting married in 12 days. Congratulations. Witness history with CM Punk's return. I seriously got to get him on here. We got to talk to him about his live experience, despite how angry King especially might be. And of course, the Good Brothers are going to continue what they're doing in AEW and Impact Wrestling, as they are still the Impact World Tag Team Champions. Hey, I'm not perfect. I accept my faults. And again, there's just so much going on in all things wrestling. There's never been a more unique, brighter time to be or return to be a professional wrestling fan. And not think about the WWE. But that's all I got to say about that. So for the preacher, I say for the preacher man, Casey Flynn, and the King A-Train, hashtag the Super Elite King. I am the Superman Noah Foster. Take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. And whether it's these two or me alone, stop saying gay alley. Gay alley. And Casey, I come you. All right, now, yeah, he did it in the chat. Now I'm definitely concluding this thing. This has been, once again, another fun, wild, unscripted, wholesome time discussing all things wrestling with my family, not necessarily in rhyme, as we bid you adieu for this ATW Spotlight. And if you haven't already, go order All Out on BR Live. It is going to be one hell of a show. And support the NWA. And if you haven't already, support NXT UK. And that's all I got to say about that. This is the ATW crew and the ATW Spotlight signing off. Take care. Stop saying yay, Allie.